Hey, what's going on, traders? My name is Will Durson, and welcome to AscendedTrader. On this channel, I break down real trade setups using clean technical analysis on TradingView. No hype, no fluff, just high probability setups with clear reasoning. This video is part of my technical analysis playlist, where I walk you through my live charts, key levels, and the exact logic behind every trade I take. If you're trying to trade smarter and level up your skills, you're in the right place. Stick around, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into this setup.
All right, hey guys, this is Wilderson, Ascended Trader, and this is actually my first technical analysis video. All my other uploads are about mindset, philosophy so far, which I think is probably my favorite subject out of the whole trading industry. So I just want to give you a little bit of information on how I trade and my setups, and so on and so forth. Usually on Sundays or Mondays, I start out by looking at my watch list here. It's a lot. I have a lot of uh, I guess instruments to look at. Almost all the Forex pairs, the majors and the minors. And the reason why I have a lot, it's not, at first I thought to myself when I started, I would never have more than 1 to 3 because it would be hard and confusing. And it was when I was doing, trying to do scalping or intraday trading. But when you're doing the swing trading, you just have so much time, and you can make the same amount or more money than scalping. So don't get that wrong. I used to think that the longer it took, the less money you would make. But yeah, you make the same amount of money or more. But it's not complicated because you're not always going to find the setups and just using 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 instruments as far as the currencies. So if you don't have a lot of, let's say, trades, you're not happy with the amount of trades you do a week, you will just open up more on your watch list, add more to your watch list, and then you'll have more opportunity for your setups to appear. So at the top here, let me start with the USD Chef, and let me explain what I looked at here. So like I said, Sundays and Mondays, I kind of draw out my higher time frame points of interest. This is a daily fair value gap with the D and the FVG. It's red because it's anything that hits that would usually bounce off it into a selling direction, so it's bearish. Okay, so I can see that's what price did here, and then it made another fair value gap. Price didn't really hit it again, but it hit it these 2 times, leaving a resistance level. But usually resistance levels are because of a imbalance or fair value gap or SIBI even. All right. So again, I want to give kudos to the mentor that I got this information from. This is the playbook that changed my trading life, my trading career. It helped me become clear in the markets and helped me become consistent, disciplined, and profitable now. When I looked at this leg right here, somewhere along the line, I saw an opportunity because I would consider this a liquidity sweep, which is one of the top items on my list for qualifications on my setup. All right, I like to see more than one swing for liquidity to be taken out, but technically this is one. I wouldn't say this is still an A+ setup for me, but I wouldn't say an A++, if that makes any sense, because I'd like to see more liquidity, like clear liquidity. And then another thing is when price heads the other direction, I like to see a big displacement, leaving, showing speed, leaving a fair value gap, which you see a couple of them, because if I can just maybe turn it off for a second. Displacement here, displacement here. Together that forms a balanced price range. Okay. Price took out this prior low. It didn't leave us a wick. It actually closed continuously. So that's a market structure shift for me. The other thing I forgot to mention is I like to see where price is as far as premium or discount. Now, when I look at this old swing low or this one and this swing high, this is a range I was looking at. And where is price? Price is up here in a discount. Okay, so when I turn this on, everything will come back on here, and then let's go to this low and bring it back up here. So no matter which way we look at it, price is in a premium. So that's why I chose a sell order. So let me take that off and continue from here. All right, so there's a market structure shift, prices in premium. That's what we're doing, a sell order. What I like to see is after the speed or velocity, I like to see price make its way back slowly to the 71% Fibonacci level. I usually like to match that up with a fair value gap or liquidity. I prefer fair value gaps and premium balanced price ranges. There was one here, and that would be the last part of my, it was in a drawdown. And usually I would have done this here, put my stop loss there because that would have been the last resort. That way I end up saving money as I manage my trade. Usually what ends up happening is it wicks into it, bounces back into profits, and that's where we're at the moment. So I'm hoping it reaches my target. But like I said, this I like to see fast speed and then slow speed on the way back up to the Fibonacci or the 71%. And that kind of leaves a clue on what price is really trying to do. It wants to buy on premium, which is another premium here, and then sell at a discount. I'm sorry, it wants to sell that premium and buy at discount. So here's the premium, and it's selling off. If you need any detail or if you want more description of anything I'm talking about, just leave a comment down below. Once the order has been triggered, then I look into a buy limit, maybe about half of the risk to reward ratio, or half of my target. As you can see here, it's 900 units, which is about half of this 1,800 units. So I usually cut it in half. This is where I would take profit. Once I take profit at the half of the target, then I move my stop loss to break even. Depending on what I see price doing, sometimes I'll also do a trailing stop. As far as the overall trade itself, I like to look at the pips. The whole thing has to do with stops. This whole red area, this number here represents the pips. I like to see pips from 50 to 75. I've done like 150, but this is how I measure how long the trade is going to take. If it's 150 pips, it could take 2 weeks sometimes, depending on the market and how it's acting. But that's why I like to see a smaller amount of pips. If this, based off this, I don't even really look at the pips on the target side, but it's usually, obviously, it's going to be 2 to 2.5 more. And from here, I usually like to, if I notice, let's say if I notice an order that I like, or I can see my setup about to start, and I want a clearer picture, then I'll just go out to the daily time frame just to get a better picture of what price is. I didn't want to make this video too long, so I think I'll stop it right here. But yeah, this is the 4-hour time frame, my setup, and what I look for. Here's another one I got in late right there. Instead of 71, I got in right here. You can see what I'm doing with these balanced price ranges. If the price once goes up here, I might just close out the account if if there's a candle that closes above these points of interest. I leave notes, and I leave these what do you call them? The long position, the short position tools. I leave them along with the indicators of where the order has initiated or completed, so that I can see the history. Like this one, for example, I can see what I've done in the past. I take screenshots. I'll put notes on the screenshots. I'll put them in different folders depending on the wins and losses ones, and then I can go back and see what I've done and why I took the trade, why I won and why I lost, so on and so forth. I don't really take any notes anymore because it's not too necessary for me, because there's not 100 trades. I might do, I hardly ever do any market orders. It's usually limit orders Sundays and Mondays, and then I just wait through the week and see how things are going. Like I said, if you have any questions, just let me know. I have one-on-one coaching, free 30-minute sessions to see if we can work together. I won't be holding that for too long, so let me know. Okay, guys? Questions and comments down below. Please subscribe. Any of that helps, or all of that helps. AscendedTrader.